Hey, Jim.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of The Great Debate here on Wednesday nights with me, Uma B 1111 on Meet Me, and Pappy Black Rob, our host. And I kind of feel like Mel Bell is becoming our third co host because she's been here at every show. So let's welcome in Mel Bell and also our guest tonight, Kane. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Wow. Really excited for this.
I already got all my talking out from earlier tonight from
I'm, I'm so excited for tonight.
the toll meal Christmas and all that. I got my talking out of me already.
Well, you're going to have to find something to bring it back. So
Shut up, Rob.
I also want to give special mention to Jem in the comments and Timbo, the somethings. Who else is in here? Say hi so I could shout you out.
Afro,
We invited people as
Afro.
well, so hopefully they'll be coming through.
Yeah, and then
Your normal crowd's in here.
something
now.
Afro. Here they go. These are all my peoples. So, are we ready for our first topic of the night, which is going to go over to Poppy Black Rob?
all right. The first topic of the night is here's the question for everybody. Will we make it to the last question for the night?
No.
That's the just on a little,
Yes,
just
we
a sprinkle
will.
a little bit.
No, if Kendrick Slice comes in here, we won't finish all 6 questions.
Okay. Well,
Sorry,
four
Timbo, I had to
questions
say
it is.
that.
Four questions it is. Let's go ahead and kick start this off nice and easy. So is your relationship solely dependent upon holidays like Valentine's Day?
Screw
What I
Valentine's Day.
mean is,
For me, screw
wow,
Valentine's
say it
Day
with your chest.
on St. Patty's Day.
Oh, his is
St.
on St.
Patrick's
Patty's
Day is a
Day.
good one.
I do
Yeah.
not do Valentine's Day, Rob. I have no one to take out, no one to give flowers or candy to. So screw Valentine's Day. Bring on St. Patrick's Day for me.
Okay, and
All
Timbo
right.
said no, because I feel like you should always love your partner no matter what day it is. Okay, what about you, Melba?
No, I'm a love bug all year round, and so I don't really put emphasis on that. In most days, it's a working holiday or her working day. Um, do I feel like do I partake in the festivities of it? Do I appreciate that? Yeah, like it would be cute, but is it expected and is it dependent on it? No, absolutely not. Um, so like I think everybody in here would be happy would they appreciate like a cute box of chocolates or something like hey happy V Day, yeah, but I don't depend on it.
Well, for me, it's weird. When my mom was alive, I always got her Valentine's Day deal for her because I was her son. I loved her so much.
I love that. My dad did that for us. He used to give us like really nice chocolate and like set the standard. That's what
Okay.
we turned down. Oh my God.
So my mom got a double Valentine's Day for my dad and me.
Love that.
Oh,
But
that's what's up. What about you, Uma?
I like celebrating. Like my man and I, we don't really go on dates. Like we do a date night every Saturday night, but it's like we'll order in food or we'll watch a movie or we'll go to a local bar. It's not like big things. It's just like something to kind of do. But Valentine's, I think, is so special because it gives us a chance to really focus on each other because we live together. So you kind of lose sight of the other person when you live together. It's like routine and all of this. Like I just realized Friday is Valentine's Day, and I already have my schedule of what to cook for me and the kids and my boyfriend. And I'm like, oh dang, wait, we actually have to go out and do something. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, so I have to like really figure out what we're doing right now. But I do think that there are people in the community that live like they only celebrate the person they're with on those days. Like we've heard the stories about guys breaking up with girls just before Valentine's Day, right?
it could be vice versa. Girls breaking up with guys before Valentine's
I
Day
I,
too.
That
I
is
say
not true.
allegedly.
That is not true. Girls do not, because girls want the Valentine's Day. The men find some convenient reason to break up with a girl, and then come the end of February, hey boo, what's going on?
Well, what if it's two
Hey,
girls?
baby.
Then who's doing the breakup then?
I don't know
Who's doing the
about
breakup then?
One of the last girlfriends I had, they broke up with me 2 days before Valentine's Day.
What was the reason?
Yeah.
She was sleeping with someone else.
So she
I
had
was
another
gonna
Oh, well,
say
that's a good reason.
yeah.
So she had
That's a solid reason right there. Like, yeah,
So,
sorry.
so that's why I say screw Valentine's Day, bring on St. Patrick's Day. So I just skip Valentine's Day now. I don't care. It's like,
Well, let me twist it up for you then. I'll rephrase the question. Is relationships solely dependent upon holidays like St. Patty's Day? Like if you have to actually just go out on St. Patty's Day to celebrate your romantic interests.
St. Patrick's Day, I just go out and drink with friends, drink green beer, have fun.
Hey, let's go.
That's
I'll be
about
back, honey. Me and my friends going out.
because usually I'm doing a softball tournament on St. Patrick's Day weekend. There's a softball tournament that usually is here in Northern Nevada, Reno area. So I'm usually doing that on St. Patrick's Day.
How does a day getting drunk like a leprechaun help a relationship? Oh, no, that's the dynamic of the question. Like, well, I was having a conversation this week where people were talking about going out for Valentine's Day and people who like it, who don't. And I was like, oh, well, are your relationships solely based on holiday events? Like, do you only go out on holidays or do you celebrate throughout the whole year? Oh, my husband would do this.
I mean, you hear about people that aren't in committed relationships that break up right before the like Christmas holidays for a variety of reasons.
That's
Whether it's
terrible.
dealing with the family stuff or
Yeah.
a variety of things, like like that's also like the most busiest time in hospitals and mental health aware facilities because people are just second guessing themselves in general, so they can find a way outlet. So I don't know.
Financial.
I think that to every extent, everyone has some holiday that they might consider festive. But for the word that you use, dependent, I don't know.
You.
Because I'm sure for me, when I go to my substance abuse therapy group session on the 17th of February, my therapist asked me, so what did you do on Valentine's Day? I'm like, stayed home, watched TV. Or actually this weekend, I'm going out, a good friend of mine, she and her band's playing on Saturday, the day after Valentine's Day. So I'll probably go out and watch her play.
I was literally just thinking that because I told you guys, I just realized, oh shoot, Friday. I already told my kids I'm making them steak for dinner on Friday. I'm like, oh shoot, it's Valentine's Day. So
That's a
I was
good
thinking to
Valentine's.
myself, I'm gonna tell my man, hey, let's go out Saturday night for the date night that I planned. Because every year we swap. Last year he planned it. This year it's my turn. And I have a great plan. I don't want to say it on here just in case he's lurking in here. But I have a great plan for Valentine's.
And then actually on Valentine's Day, I'm actually going to go support a friend of mine's daughter that plays high school basketball, and they're in the state playoffs. So
Nice. I love
so I'm going
that.
to
Oh,
go.
cool.
I'm going to do that on Friday night.
And see, the man has to work. And so I told him, he's like, what are you going to do? You're going to watch like nice movies? I'm like, no, there's like a really violent Valentine's movie at the theater. So I might go see that. And he's like, oh.
What, My Bloody Valentine?
No, it
Not
was
the violent.
Hard Eyes for anybody that wants to go see it.
Oh, yeah. I've
And
heard
so
about
he
that.
was like, oh, I thought you would do the opposite. I was like, no, I mean, you're not going to be with me. You're at work. I'm going to go, do that. And I told my daughter, like, we can go have a nice dinner, have like a Galentine's Day, but she just had a breakup. So she's just like, no, why would I want to do that? And I'm like, okay, it's just me. Okay.
And I do
I mean, that's what I think about when I think Valentine's Day is violent movies.
because I do that. Like when I'm single on Valentine's, I take myself out for a spa day and I treat myself. I don't go out on Valentine's like nighttime because all the couples are gonna be out. But during the day, I go to lunch. I take myself for a spa day. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know why it's not, why it's a big thing.
But that's another thing, if I'm being honest, that's not celebrated is us going out by ourselves. Like there should be a question that we need to discuss about that. Like, what is the stigma on like going and taking yourself out on a date, you know? And I'm not gonna lie, there would be a time when I'd be like, I don't want to sit at the restaurant by myself. Like, are you waiting for someone and they don't come and like serve you a drink? Like, it's just me, it's myself, I'm by myself. Like, oh, there is no awe. I want to enjoy a steak dinner by myself. Anonymous, hello.
All right, welcome in everybody. This is the Great Debate. We just finished our first question of the night. We're moving into our second question. It is open box. Anybody can request the box, but just a reminder that we are recording to YouTube. So if you don't want to be on screen, just put it to the ceiling or something before you request the box. The second question of the night. I'm going to tell you the question and I'm going to do a little bit of a backstory, right? So the second question came from last week when we were talking about something. I had this idea. Should we incentivize healthy habits? So you know how like in America, a lot of people are overweight. Should the government like say pay us to lose weight? Like if you lose 100 pounds, you get $1,000 or I don't know, free parking for a year or a spa treatment every month or something. Like, do you think that we should incentivize healthy habits? And then if you say yes, we should it be the government's responsibility or our family or a agency set up to do that? What do you guys think about this concept?
I kind of felt like they should offer things, but I don't know. Like not like a competition, but offer some shit.
Okay.
I would like for them to offer cupcakes for my hard work.
See, you're just choosing to be difficult tonight.
For me, I say yes on the healthy part, but with the government, no, because it's not the government's responsibility for you to get in healthy shape. It's
Right.
your responsibility, not the government's responsibility.
They don't benefit from it.
Well, that's what Boogie said. He said we had an incentive program in Australia for healthy lifestyle, and the government ended it because major companies were losing money.
We have stuff like that here at gyms. I mean, there's gyms that will be like, oh, do you want to be in this pod and you'll get this much money for losing the weight that you bet on. But ultimately it's more like a cross motivator. But I think that there's a couple of things that maybe I'm going to end up with. I think people are starting to see, like, look at the injections that are going on right now, right? People have different promotions. Some people are doing it for free. If you do this, we'll give you this. Like, who knows about those things? You're now like incorporating people to take things and doing lifestyles, like eating habits that maybe their body is not physically adapted to, whether it's health or a bunch of things. And that also has to be taken in consideration. Now you want to drag the government and taking responsibility for that. There are some people that can't, like, that they might eat vegetarian or may eat paleo or and it will really make them physically sick. Like, and with I have Graves and I love broccoli, and can you believe that's like on one of the things I have to limit? Like, you wouldn't think so, right? Like, what do you mean broccoli's not healthy? So that's what I mean. Like, but to answer the actual question now, I don't believe, like Kane said, that it should be put on the government. It should be like a life choice that you make. Like, I don't want to look like this or feel like this, and you make your own incentive, or do it as a group with your friends.
Yeah.
Well, let's put money in a pot or something.
But do you feel that people would do better if there was an incentive? Like, because I feel like all of us here have the opportunity to live healthier, but we don't choose it, right? We choose McDonald's.
Like, it could be like a very small percentage, but yeah, it's if somebody give it to us, something gonna take it. It could be very small though. And it might not even be the best idea.
Right.
See, before we did the Great Debate show, Uma and I were talking about other things, like with me and my knee, because I had health issues, just to get my knee better. I cut back on the carbs, a lot of
Bless
sugar
you.
foods. I stopped drinking. That's not the government's choice. That was my choice to do that to make myself better. I didn't ask the government to help me out or anything like that. So
No, it's not like that.
it's not the government's responsibility for me to get in shape. It's my responsibility. So if I wanted to stay lazy as fuck or lazy as hell and not do anything, that's my choice. If I die because of that,
Agreed.
that was my choice to die from that, not anybody else's choice, not the government's choice. So our government's a little different than Australia's government, boogie woogie. So
No, what I'm trying to say is the purpose of a government is to govern the populace for the better. So, you know the saying, you can take a horse to water, you can't force it to drink. We can't
Correct.
force you to be fit. We can't force you to be healthy. But if we give you the guidelines for the betterment of educating the population of the benefits of a healthier lifestyle, yes, we can gain from it. And we had that program and it took off like a bat out of hell here. That if you say, okay, I'm going to eat, because it was called Easy Bites, and it's a card you get, you sign up to, and it
Mhm.
comes out from your tax portion of your employment. So, like salary sacrificing. So if you choose to order food based on that lifestyle that you have, right? You're lowering your tax liability and everybody. But when they were realizing how much money they were putting in and people were eating healthy, and then McDonald's and a lot of fast foods were losing money, their lobby groups put pressure on the government and they ended the Easy Bites incentive. And a lot of people took advantage of it. It didn't stop you from eating fast foods. It gave you more choices. Because when you try to eat healthy, look at the cost of trying to eat healthy to eating fast foods. Fast foods are cheap. It's easy and it's efficient. So people would rather save their money and go and eat junk and sacrifice. But the long term goals of an incentive like that by the government will actually ease the pressure on the Medicare and the health system. And also a healthier workforce means longer working, healthy, less sick leave and all of that. And it benefits the economy in the long run. It's not about forcing people to think, it's your choice. But this is what I like, even I put forward. Don't raise the taxes on the cigarette, put it back to normal. But if you're a smoker, then you pay a little bit, a higher percentage on the Medicare, right, than a non-smoker. If they're saying that smoking is affecting the Medicare system and raise the tax on cigarettes, it didn't stop smoking. So you
You're
got to think of
telling
the bigger
me.
picture.
I'm done. I don't want to talk to these ass.
Because it affects everybody as well. The more people impede on the system, it affects other people as well in the long run.
So Boogie,
And so, yeah, that's my only
so
fans
did you
like
say
it.
they stopped that program or they still
Yeah, they
got it
stopped
running?
it because when we change governments, because you got Labor and Liberal, Labor is for the people, Liberal is for the companies, but they're all for each other, to be honest. But when the pressure was put on the government, and because a lot of people were utilizing the easy buys, they scrapped it. The same like we had a healthcare system set up for if you work for a company for more than 3 years, you get free eye care and all of that, especially if you're in IT because you need your eyes at a computer. And they scrapped that as well. When things kick off for the benefit of helping people, the government always go, oh, at the long run, we got to save money.
No, Mel Bell, if you're in here, you can come back in. I take people out and put people back in as needed, Jim. So I
Yeah.
took Mel Bell out to bring in the other lady, and then she left. And Mel Bell, you can come back in. So I'm torn on it because I agree with Kane. It's our personal responsibility to take care of our own health. However, I'm noticing like it's really hard for people to make our own health a priority, which is weird, I know, but it's the truth. So then I also agree with Boogie where he says, the government is supposed to protect people and their population. So in a way, it is kind of their responsibility, right? I just don't know. Where do you guys lean more? Is it more our personal responsibility or the government as we the nation?
I think it's personally me, myself, and I, not the government.
Personally.
You see, for me, we voted the government in to help us. We voted the government in, and the government's job is to educate us and keep us informed with everything. That doesn't exist anymore. It used to be the system because that's their whole point. We elect them to make our lives easier in making certain decisions. But in an aspect of educating the populace and giving them the correct information, as I said, I'm not going to force you to go and exercise. Nobody forces me to go do it. I'm doing it for my own benefit and for my family, but with the information there and an incentive. Because if I had a choice, if I'm in a shopping center and you look in the food court, what do you see around you? Fast
All
food,
things
fast food, fast food. And the one healthy place costs about 10% more than all the thing. So if you're strapped for cash, where are you going to end up going? To the fast food. Whereas if you have an incentive to eat healthy, we're not trying to put fast food out of business. We're trying to give them to help us with a better um was it lifestyle. But
But what
we
if
are so
like,
lazy now. People don't cook today. They
I don't
expect
know.
everything to be prepared for them.
but what if we like, what if the okay, what if we worked in tandem with the government? Like say for instance, instead of the government incentivizing us, what about if they took away the bad influences? Like maybe say for instance, charged you more to have a fast food junk restaurant, charge you less if you decided to open a restaurant that was natural or vegan or vegetarian. Charge you more if you I don't know, okay, like, taxing cigarettes and
Yeah.
alcohol and stuff, and made like, okay, right now, right? It's cheaper to eat McDonald's. What if the government was to flip that and to say it's cheaper to eat at, say, Panera Bread or a vegan restaurant? Don't you think that would
They did
help in a
try
way?
that. Yeah, it would help, but they did try it. And as I said, the money ended up speaking and the government ended up caving into the demand. Sort of like, let's look at America recently with a TikTok. The reason they overruled the TikTok was because all the major corporations put pressure on the government. They were
Afro,
going to lose
welcome,
money.
welcome, Ann. Did you want to add to the conversation? Oh,
It's not.
You know,
It's really not every
we
state.
can work with a government, but it's up to the people. And do you find
wait,
the
Mel,
population
we
eagerly
can't hear
eager
you.
enough to want to help?
We can't hear you, Mel. Sorry, Boogie. She was talking and
Yeah.
then
Oh,
I don't think you
sorry.
heard her talk. No, it's okay. I don't think you heard her talking.
All right. I'm gonna answer your question like this. Should we incentivize healthy habits either through government or through ourselves, our own being? For me, it's gonna be a no, and the reason why is because
Oh, all right. Let's get
oh,
Afro a chance to speak because I know he's at work. So I want to hear his perspective
oh,
real
go
quick.
ahead,
Go
Apple.
ahead, Afro.
Hmm. The yes and no, that's correct and incorrect. That I'll correct you on that because we did a research into the American obesity problem and where it started. I can't remember the president's name. I'm trying to go research it now. But one of the US presidents had a heart attack, and he told his advisors to find out why he had a heart attack. And they went and did a pseudoscience research and said you had a heart attack because you ate a lot of fatty meats. And that gives sugar companies a lot of power. No, breakfast was always no breakfast. We by our evolution, breakfast was always a key part of our survival. You eat in the morning, lunch was not, and then you eat in the evening. It was actually the other way. I go by history. That's the difference. Yeah. Eisenhower. Yeah. So on your website there in America, called heart.org. No, I'm on a science website. Hmm. See, yeah,
I will say that I have a bachelor's degree in food nutrition, and the one thing I learned was that the breakfast concept really was affected by Kellogg's in this country, and they got together with the milk industry to try to push their product. And technically, according to Ayurveda, which is Indian healthcare science, you should not be eating um, cold in the morning. So that whole idea of like cereal with
exactly.
milk, you shouldn't
Yep.
have it. That's not a good like oatmeal or cream of wheat
It had to
or
be
things like
warm
that.
on
Porridge.
protein.
Yeah, that's supposed to be good. But I
Yeah.
will also say that like you have to follow your own body's instincts because I do intermittent fasting. So I don't eat from 9 p.m. till 1 p.m. Right? So I do like a 16-hour fast and then from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. is usually when I eat within that 7-hour window. So I actually fast for 17 hours and then I eat for 7 hours. And that works for me. It keeps my weight in check. It helps with my energy and my moods. But break fast is breakfast is break fast. It's supposed to break the fast of your slumber when you wake up, and it's for your energy. But you don't have to have like a big heavy meal. Like for me, I drink
No.
water. Water breaks my fast, right?
Yeah, water cleanses your body in the fast in the sense because your stomach is empty. It goes through your system quickly and and sends you to the bathroom and all that. But looking at the research that I just had to double check his name because it was bugging me. Dwight Eisenhower, 1955, when he had a heart attack. It did push the research into the heart attack, but then certain universities from within that research was backed by certain companies, and you mentioned one of them, which was Kellogg's and all of them, because they were trying to get their foot in the industry. So they messed with the research and then put in high sugar content. Back in the late 90s, that all got overruled when it's worked out that we need certain levels of fatty foods in our diet because that's how our body evolved for, millennia. Um, and the truth came out. And because we have sugar in everything, is why we have obesity problems. And this is where healthy living comes into it. But to fix a problem isn't about, just getting one say. It's to be educated on what happened, why it happened, how we can avoid making the same mistakes again. And because of that level of ignorance now in society, people will listen to one source of information, take it as gospel, and then we're back in the same cycle, because in the 90s, when people became health conscious again, sugar companies like Coke, Schweppes, and them were losing money. They literally were billions of dollars. So they bought out the water companies like Franklin's and all of them and Fiji Water and promoted a celebrity marketing thing saying, drink 2 liters a day. That was based on a science that was never validated.
All right. I got Kane.
Yep.
And then Melville come back in after Afro. All right, hold on. I have to pause the recording, guys. We have a saying in Ayurveda. You're supposed to eat like a pauper in the morning, eat like a king at lunch, and eat like a regular person at dinner time.
Thanks, man.
So that just lines up with the video Afro showed us.
I understand that videos did see it, but the problem with TikTok and a lot of these podcasters, they will find a thing that's on the bandwagon and run with it without putting the time and effort. Breakfast, this was it's almost 1,000 or more, like been around for thousands of years. It became a main thing within Western civilization in the 15th century, and it's been around where, if you eat a healthy, but you have the energy throughout the day to perform your work, you stop for a smaller, lighter meal, which was lunch, and then you have a bigger meal to sleep and rest so your body can process. um but the problem with a lot of these science, and when people talk and they came to a consensus, it was based within their cultured group, and then they made it as a generalized thing. When you look at the larger picture of eating healthy, and that when you look at countries like early American breakfast was cornmeal based foods, pone, pancakes, things like that. And then you had pig parts, which was like a pork chop, things like that. Then you had the French, which would mix egg and bread. That's where we got French toast from, which was taken from the fourth century Roman cookbook. Do you understand? So
But
it's
here's the
having
thing though.
protein in the morning.
I understand what you're saying, but I think the majority of people don't need a heavy breakfast in the morning. I think the people that lived on farms, the people who did manual labor, they needed a heavy breakfast in the morning because they're actually doing heavy labor. A lot of us, especially
Yeah.
Americans, we're just getting up and sitting in a car, driving to a job that we're sitting at, and then we're coming back in the car, sitting in the car, driving home to sit in front of the TV. We're not doing too much. So we don't need to eat as much as we do, you know?
Well, it
My
depends
opinion, my
on
opinion
what you
on
eat and how you eat and how you carry yourself. This is where self-educating comes down. So generalize and blame it on a system or a breakfast or whatever. My train of thought is that's a cop out. It's basically like for me, I'm not a heavy eater, so I eat micro meals. That
right.
suits me. I'm not going to tell somebody you do it because it works for me. I tell people find what best works for you, and we will, and that's how it goes. But it comes down again, like I said, it's to being educated, and this is why I find social media like TikTok and those things they put out an information with half truths. One of the one that caught my attention recently is they're saying, oh, look at this alligator. It's playing like it's drowning to draw people to come and help it and then feed on it. But when you look at the deeper picture of that bloody video, the damn alligator was dying.
Oh,
Right? But it had over 30 million views, and people believe alligators are so intelligent that they trick people in that they're drowning or trick animals. And that's the problem. There's always a bigger picture, and this is why I know Pappy's gonna laugh. Read a fucking book. If you don't want to read a book, go read some universal journals about it. There's a reason why we have fact checkers. There's a guy that came out in the early 2000s and 2010s. He used to do these little skits where he ruins what people's perception of what facts are. White guy with a glass. I remember. I'll send you the videos, and one of which was like, let's say the eye industry. that all optometrists are owned by an umbrella corp. And the reason we have multiple different massive brands of optometrists is to sell different brands of glasses. It's about fact checking. And there are people out there that specialize in keeping facts alive because it's not hard to sugarcoat facts and alter um, the narrative.
So
All right, I
I,
want Tim to say something, and then we're gonna wrap up
Mhm.
this conversation.
okay, so yes, how I look at things is okay, breakfast is kind of a way you eat something. It doesn't really have to be a big amount, it doesn't have to be a small
Hmm.
amount. You just eat something to get up, get your energy, get your blood going, get you ready to go
Yep.
for the day. And then a lunch to me is like a little snack in between. You eat a little
Yep.
something. It's not supposed to be a heavy meal because you're at work. Like say you're working, then you worked all day. You worked hard. You lost all that protein, all that energy, all that stamina, and you're hungry. Now dinner is when you start eating big
This is
because you're
wrong.
trying to
Yep.
replenish everything that you lost, all of
I'll
Yep.
that
tell
that
you
you lost
why. I'll tell you
from
why your
working.
setup is wrong.
Go
Because
ahead.
in the morning, right? If
Okay.
you want to eat heavy, you have to eat heavy either at your morning or your lunchtime, because now you have the whole day to burn those calories. If you eat heavy at night, right? It's your body is supposed to, like when you go to sleep, your body's supposed to be using the energy to heal the body, repair your
Right.
tissues, formulate cells,
But when you
all
eat heavy, you get
fix
tired
your
too.
organs and stuff like that. But now, right now, you're using the energy, what we call agni, the fire in you. You're
Hmm.
using that to now digest food. The digestion of food is supposed to be during the day. So if you could change your diet, I would say eat something to sustain you in the morning, probably protein, right? That yogurt, granola, berries, whatever you want, eggs if it's too
Glucose and
expensive, but
protein.
Right.
right, something warm, something light to hold you, a good cup of coffee or tea. And then around lunchtime, eat your heaviest meal of the day at lunchtime. Now, this is the problem, right? Because a lot of people would say, well, I'm at work. And what people like to do, let's be clear, people like to go home, sit on the couch in front of their TV and eat their food and watch TV, but that's not healthy. So if you're really concerned about your health and you really want to get your metabolism going and lose weight and feel good about yourself, you should have your heaviest meal during the day. At nighttime, guys, if I'm eating at night, because I usually eat I usually eat one meal a day, and it's usually around 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. So in the morning, I have a cup of coffee like around noon, and then around 3-4, I have my biggest meal of the day. And then if I'm still hungry at night, you guys, what do you guys see me munching on? Garlic stuffed olives, because olives are good for inflammation. Nuts are really good, or berries, not any fruit, just berries.
Right.
So
But I feel like when you eat a big meal, you get tired because that's what happens when they fed us big at lunch one time. I said, "Oh,
yeah,
sleep. I have no energy." That's why I
oh,
say.
you got the itis.
That's
yeah.
why I say you eat
I was
dinner
going to bring
big.
that up.
You
Pappy
eat
would
dinner
know the
big,
meaning. Sorry, Timbo.
Lawrence. That's why I say you eat big during dinner because then that way, you get tired and you fall asleep and you go back and you recuperate and do it all over again. That's why I always had that thought
I
about
know,
that.
but if
I,
if it works for you, it works for you. I'm just telling you, if you want to get more energy, your metabolism to kick off, you get better sleep, try switching it up where you're eating during the day and lay off on the carbs, because the carbs is really what makes you sleepy, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Eat more protein, more veggies, and you'll see a
And this is
change in
where
your life.
educating comes in handy with people and nutritionalists and things like that. Because at the end of the day, again, it's up to the individual. Every country, the problem with science is there is a level of consensus, but there's always going to be personal views.
Right.
So one scientist will say this, the other one will say that based on their personal views. This is where it comes down to you in the middle to listen to both sides, come to find a consensus that suits you and make it work. It's like eating vegetables at dinner, things like that, because as you sleep, your body's breaking it down. It's repairing. While you sleep, your body repairs damages from throughout the day. And then breakfast gives you that energy to perform through the day. But I'm not going to say this is right, this is wrong. It's based on what my observations, like in the army, we eat. But in the slave days, and ITIS just saw what I put in there, starts with N, that's where the ITIS comes from. And because they fed the slaves a big meal at lunchtime, and what we ended up doing, and then back into the bloody fields, right? That's where the term came from. And yeah, and then the Mexicans had their siesta. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's about a balance. There's always got to be a level of equilibrium. And society today don't know the definition of equilibrium. They know they prefer the term of excess, as if they're not going to get food in the next 2 hours.
Well, and then we
Okay.
also live in a work culture, right? There's a lot of stress on work, work, work. And that's why like businesses like mine, where we help people create, more happiness and joy in their life. Like there's a certification program now for Ikigai, which I'm not
Mm.
pronouncing that wrong, Ikigai, but it's that, that Asian culture of like mindfulness and slowing down and taking rest and appreciating the moment. We don't have that because like the Asian culture, like the American, the
So
modernized
Japanese,
Western
yeah.
culture, it's all about
Mm.
work. And I think it's very, very unhealthy. But as much as we could talk about this topic, it's time to move on to our
It's funny
third
you brought
topic.
up Ikigai though, because the Japanese culture isn't good about work-life balance at all.
No, they actually have a
They
word for
talk about
burnout where you could
Ikigai,
actually
which is
die
like long
from
life and
overworking.
prosperity.
So
Yeah,
yeah, they had to develop that
yeah.
as well. But all right, Rob, I'm going to kick it over to you for the third topic of the night.
Um, though not violent, I like to thank Uma for once again kickstarting off the 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 train tonight. Appreciate it. Let me see if I got my ticket. Make sure I get punched because I know we got some very interesting questions later on. All right, second question of the night. We're just gonna go ahead and throw this out there because this is one of the things talked about this week. Um, what's everybody's take on Mr. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance?
Oh God.
Man,
There's
did
entertainment, and
we
then people
enjoy
just
it?
take things in one way.
Oh, here they come.
Look, at the end of the day, look,
Alrighty. So
entertainment. There's
I just want to
entertainment.
remind you all that I am recording on YouTube, so please watch the link.
YouTube, join up. YouTube, please join up to my OnlyFan. I'm lonely here.
Not your
But
only fan. Wow.
but
Mel
look,
Mel.
Look, Kane's
Yeah.
already
at the end of
signing
the
up.
day, there's entertainment. Um, I understand celebrities putting out their message or whatever, but I think the bandwagon of society is something new for the year. Let's jump on it and run with it. To me, I looked at it, chuckled, and that's the end of the story. I'm done. Everyone is still talking about it. And I'm just like, there's more important things in the goddamn world to go focus some energy on. Go focus on that. Get over it. He said what he got to say. Trump got his boo. I don't care. Let's move on. I'm sure there's more important things out there.
So I disagree. I kind of like what Afro said. In America, it's a very charged time right now for those of us living in America. There's a lot going on that I don't know if the rest of the world sees. We're 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 in a bad place right now. And
Oh, yeah.
it was I literally watched the halftime show and I didn't say a word. We had people over. We had a Super Bowl party. Nobody said a word. We all just sat there staring at the screen. And I think the rampant thought running was, is he going to survive this? Because are they going to let him live? Like honestly, it was really there was so much symbolism. There were so many things he was saying, from the Handmaid's Tale to the prison yard to you had everybody on that field was black, and they were dressed as the American flag, pretty much saying very loudly this country was built on the backs of black people, of
Hmm.
slavery, right? Like it was a lot of symbolism that I'm beginning to find out now went over a lot of people's heads, because like I see the comments on social media and
The
people are like,
Uncle
oh, it was
Tom
boring.
reference.
Yeah, they were like, oh, it was boring, or I didn't, you know, and then when people start explaining to them, well, this is what this meant, they're like, oh, thank you for sharing the video. I had no idea. And it was usually the Caucasian community didn't get what was being said, but I
You're
love to
echoing.
see the camaraderie now because this whole week, why am I echoing?
You're echoing.
But like all this week, you know, I've been seeing people say, I didn't like the show. And then without fail, somebody would post a video in the comments explaining the halftime show. And the original poster would write back, oh, I had no idea. Thank you so much for posting this video. And I saw that like 4 times this week. So I thought it was brilliant. I love that Kendrick Lamar did that. And you know, I
I don't
feel
hate the
like,
fact he did it.
yeah, I
I'm
feel
just
like we needed,
pessimistic. People don't learn.
it's just like it's like Americans are fed up. We're fed up of the hypocrisy in this country. We're fed up that certain groups of people get ahead and certain groups of people keep getting denied access. And we want change. We want
Okay. Do you
change.
remember Danny Glover's song that he did? What's his name? The
This is
Glover guy.
America.
This is America. You remember all the band hype and everything? Did anyone learn from it?
It
This
is.
is my
There is a
problem with
conscious
society.
movement. There is a conscious move. Like people don't see it, but there is a conscious movement in America because you see the things that get shown on social media do not represent all of us. Like
Mhm.
my boyfriend and I, we do not wear name brand clothes. We do not buy name brand. The only time you
Mhm.
go see me with a name brand something is if it was on sale, like 50% off. I'm like, oh, that's a good steal for a good purse, right? That's the only way I'm buying it. But we don't support that culture. And there's a lot of Americans that don't support the culture. But however, you don't see that. But you see the girls
Mhm.
out there blinging with the what's them purses called? Them really expensive ones?
Gucci's.
The
Which
Gucci,
one?
Prada,
No,
Prada.
no, the ones that cost like $30,000 for a bag, Birkin. You know, like you see girls out there
What?
flaunting with the Birkin. Yes, 30,000 for one bag.
30,000.
Raise the tax
I'm
on
about
them
to start
bitches.
making some bags right now. Hold on.
Like, look at Mr. P. He's literally living like off grid and creating. There's a lot of us that are doing that. We're growing our own herbs. We're growing our own food. We're learning how to sew. We're learning to take care of ourselves. But the media don't show that. They just show the Americans that are flaunting it or wasting it or burning money. So,
You
you
see,
know,
America has a culture here in Australia where we deem Americans as very, their heads are so far up their own ass. I think they're the only fucking continent, pardon the language, the only
but you
continent
would see that.
on this whole planet. Someone brought it up in a stream. He goes, "Oh, yeah, but we still got power." I was like, "Rome had power. Rome fell. England had power. England lost its colonies. You know, power doesn't last forever."
Ever.
And
It
So
you
doesn't.
know, eventually someone will rise up and create and break down the power. And you got to work together. That's how humanity is meant to survive. Meant to work together. And when I did see the halftime show, I understood the message and all that. But in my pessimistic mind, the way I see society is, yeah, they can jump on the bandwagon, but they ain't gonna learn Jack Black from it. You know, at the end of the day, it'll be a topic boundary for about 3, 4 weeks. They'll completely forget about it, and we're back at square one. And yes, it may be a handful or two, you know, a portion, but they're not getting the limelight to continue that message.
so my thing with the halftime show is two things. Number one, it's just not really my kind of music, so that's why I didn't really,
Right. That makes
find
sense.
it interesting. And number two, in the beginning, until it took me time, I honestly didn't even know what the heck was going on. And then I had to realize, oh, it was telling a story because in the beginning, when you had that first look, you just see people running around doing dancing. I thought they were just doing regular, you know,
Right.
basically regular dancing to the music. And then once I said, oh, it has an actual meaning to it, that's when I said, oh, okay, it's saying something. But I just didn't like it because, like I said, it's not really my kind of music, and
Mhm.
I don't really,
Maybe
I
next
don't
year we'll
really
do a
follow.
country music halftime for you.
But that's exactly what it is. We've had so many country singers, pop singers that have done the halftime show, and people be like raving about it. Oh, I love that. I love that. And I had no clue. I
And
was
yeah,
like,
and I feel like too, it should be like,
yeah.
not that I'm not saying the guy's not a no name person,
Oh,
but I
he's a big
also
name.
like I feel like also like it's got to be something that like more people know of. Like you could say like Michael Jackson. Everybody knows Michael Jackson. You know, everybody knows, you know, like Elvis Presley, like as an example. If it's somebody that's like that, older generation's not going to really know much, you know, because they were saying a lot of the older generations was like, who is this guy? It's more of like the millennials, you know, the younger generation. So if it's somebody that is more well known out there, then yeah. But at the same time, this is a good way for him to get himself out there for the people who don't know him. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's a hit or miss.
I mean, but like, okay, to be fair, right? Like I hear you, and I love that you feel this way, because I got to tell you, I have felt this way throughout a lot of Super Bowl shows, right? Like
Yeah.
those are big names. Prince, Janet
Samuel
Jackson,
Samuel L.
Justin
Jackson was
Timberlake.
there, and Kendrick.
But they have also had Bruce Springsteen,
Mhm.
Katy Perry, right?
Right.
Maroon 5. These are people that not everybody know about. So it's like, I understand what you're saying. To you, you might feel like Kendrick Lamar is not a big deal. Let me tell you about Kendrick Lamar. I've been following him for years. And the reason why I was a little bit nervous about Kendrick Lamar doing the halftime show is because Kendrick Lamar is purposely not a big name brand name. He's a conscious rapper, right? So he
Mhm.
raps about, like, he's like Kanye. I don't know what Kanye's doing now. That's another story, but that's
He joined the
another
Ku Klux
story.
Klan.
But Common,
Recording.
Common, Nas, these are conscious rappers. And I was nervous that the Super Bowl, he would change up, that he would lose the flavor of what makes him Kendrick Lamar, of what I started following Kendrick Lamar for, that why I love Kendrick Lamar. I'm so happy that it didn't change him. He didn't have no twerking. He didn't have no
Nope.
girls and no sexy outfits. He didn't,
Nope.
it was exactly like the way I would expect Kendrick Lamar to do a Super Bowl show, to fill it with meaning, to let the world know we're not happy, and it's still
You know,
unfair.
his mother said she would slap him over the head if he became an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
he's a
know, she said
well-grounded
that.
dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
know.
Like I said, I'm not saying anything was wrong with it. I just feel like I said, I don't really listen to that kind of music.
Now,
So
what
it was,
happened with that diss song, Mr. P? Everybody is saying, "Oh, would he do it? Would he not do it?" Drake was threatening to sue him about the
It's a facet.
you know what
Yeah,
it is.
that
Now
was
everybody
hilarious.
could, yeah, what everybody could like make a you know, their own opinion. This is my opinion about why he did the Drake song. He had to do it. When I'm telling you, we have everywhere. When he came out with that diss song, it was meant to be a diss song to, okay, for those of you that don't know, They Not Like Us was a diss song to Drake, because Drake started first by sending a diss song to Kendrick Lamar, dissing a whole bunch of people, not just Kendrick Lamar. And then Kendrick Lamar responded with that. It was supposed to be a diss song, but what happened, it blew up. When I tell you that summer when that thing came out, right? We had people at weddings chanting They Not Like Us. We had people at graduation chanting They Not Like Us. It became a catchy song that, and people were relating to it, not because of Drake, they were relating to it because of their own personal life experiences. I was singing that thing at the top when I did verses on here, and I got like a hater or a troll. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, They Not Like Us. They Not Like Us. I had the whole room in here screaming, They Not Like Us. You know what I'm saying? So it became a catchy song. He could not go to Super Bowl and not do the song. America would not forgive him. And then when he did it, you know, that stadium had over 79,000 people. And when he did it, everybody sang A minor. You can't, that's power. That's power. You know what I'm saying? So he had to do the song, in my opinion. He had to do it. All right, Boogie.
I just got to say this. Look, this is just my personal take on the Super Bowl halftime show. Um, just take the L, Drake. Take the L. Don't do no responses. Don't make no
Yeah.
statements. Take the L. Go to the studio. It's checkmate, sir. Checkmate.
I knew what he was doing. I understood what was going on for the halftime show. But there's some areas I couldn't understand. I couldn't hear him singing
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
quite a bit, a lot of times. And then I did hear him sing, but there's times he's like mumbling. I could
Yeah,
barely
some
hear
of the
him
words you
singing
could understand.
during the halftime show. So
Yeah.
But he was also trying to do it clean too. That's why, because I noticed some of the
Yeah.
lyrics he couldn't
Yeah,
say.
some of that
certain things
lyrics
on
was
there.
definitely not.
So he was trying his best not to say what he can't say, so he doesn't get in trouble. So that's why he's kind of like, you know, because if he says it and slips up, then he could be in big trouble. That's why.
No, but that's how he raps. To be honest, he is one of the mumble rappers. So that's
but for
Yeah.
me,
But we also
I-
live in a society. Sorry. Go ahead, Kane. Sorry.
but for me, I do listen to hip hop rap once in a while, but not all the time. I listen to all variety of different music. It doesn't matter if it's country, jazz, could be bluegrass, it could be hard rock, heavy, whatever. I listen to it all, not just one variety of music
bluegrass?
at a time. So for me, a halftime show, if the NFL brings in that certain artist, I don't care who it is. All I care is that they better put on a good show. If not, there's gonna be a lot of controversy
bless you.
talked about. That's about it.
You know, coming from the Caribbean, and Uma will understand, we have a large genre of type of musics, from calypso, reggae, dub, you know, R&B, and
right.
we've put out a lot of artists over things. But a lot of our Caribbean music, especially when you listen to calypso, has a message and history behind it. The problem I find in the West, especially like US, American, that you got to thread on thin ice not to say something because you're going to get persecuted as if you're a witch back in Salem.
Yeah.
And when you try to educate people and give a message, people don't want to be educated and they will attack you. And the way he did that performance, and that's why I nodded and smiled. He did it creatively and subtly, but at the same time, still got a message in your face. Here you go. Sort of like Donald Glover did with This Is America. You know,
Childish Gambino. The Childish
yeah, Childish
Gambino.
Gambino. Yeah, you know, but the thing, what came up in my mind is how many people is going to learn from this, remember this, and put it down as a point of history educating, because we live in this society that we, as I said, we persecute one another for speaking our minds or whatever, but at the same time, can it still be art by educating people? You know, and I thought it was. I like a lot of the references, even to Squid Game, which is our daily life. You know, we will sacrifice one another for money and things like that. There was a lot of messages in that one
Yeah.
performance. You know, it's
All
not
right.
everyone's cup of tea, but hey,
That was a great question, Rob. I want to give that to you. I'm going to switch it now to another question, but this one's going to be about love and relationships, because I was going around TikTok this morning and I happened upon this stream where they were talking about this question. And I said, that's a really good question. I want to know what you guys think. So the question is, can your partner, if you're in a relationship, can your partner have a best friend that is the same gender as you? So I'm a female. My man, can he have a female best friend? Rob is a male. Can his partner have a male best friend? What do you guys think?
why
Yes.
not? Yeah, why
Next
not?
question.
Why can't you have a friend of the opposite sex?
Can you repeat that, Uma?
Can your partner have a best friend of the same gender as you? So Kane, if you have a girlfriend, can your girlfriend have a male best friend?
Yeah. I say yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, let me
I
All
agree.
right,
Yes.
cool. All right, we'll
Yeah.
move on.
We can. At the end of the
Let
day, I
the
think if
ladies
people
say
have a
no.
problem with that,
All right,
that's
so
their
a woman can have a man
jealousy
best
problem.
friend. If she can, good for her. But I don't think so.
Okay, why?
Because, like, would you trust that nigga? You trust that man? Wait, I want to know. Do you trust that
Are
man?
you trusting that man? Is do you trust your woman?
No, I'm asking you. Are you trustworthy?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, then enough said. I ain't gonna question you twice. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
And
It's
I
just
will
my.
let you know, like being on both ends of this perspective, I'm actually currently dealing with that situation. Is I'm totally open to the conversation of having boundaries. And believe it or not, my question doesn't even pertain to him per se. I don't have any questions on his end. Again, it's having boundaries being crossed, um, whether it's, from certain perspectives and your person taking the initiative. I think like the better question or thing that I would be concerned with is how my partner, or in any case, whoever's partner is, having the friend of the same of the opposite sex, um, is responding to the behavior, right? Like, what does that look like? Like in their sense, like I felt more distraught because we were both in acquaintance with the person, but he right off the bat, because I really don't have anything to stand on to hold him accountable, was him being like it was a form of disrespect to the friendship. Besides you, it was more of a form of disrespect because there should be some kind of boundary. And so I think, again, it goes back to the foundation you have with your partner. Even if the other person was being disrespectful, where does your partner stand? How is that being responded to? Because I'll be honest with you, I can really, wholeheartedly say without being excusable, he's responded in all the correct ways. And I do feel bad because to me, it's like, would this have even happened or come in conversation? Thank you. Um, if I didn't have, like, if I wasn't in the picture, right? Because this person's actually in a relationship themselves. And so again, it goes back to, I think, the foundation and having those conversations and when and where you're having those conversations with your partner.
But I'm confused what you're saying. So
I think that there's an open. Okay, so clearly in this situation, long story short, there is clearly, one of those like this very awkward inappropriateness of like, you could tell that there's some kind of like, I don't know if it's an attraction, an attachment style, which I told you, I wanted to talk about that next week or when we're talking, an attachment style, which to me, I validate those things. I feel like they are very realistic.
So
That
wait, are you
have,
saying that like in a situation with a man and a girl, the man has an attachment to another girl?
I don't think so. I think in this case, his friend has an attachment to him. He was able to put a boundary of being like, we can no longer speak the same manner because I'm in a relationship. And I would probably feel some kind of way going back to what Jay was saying, you kind of have to realistically be like, I'm in a relationship with Rob or Jay, like, what are you comfortable with? And where does the respect on both ends? Where can we meet? Like, okay, Jay, I can understand, like, you don't like this. Let's have a conversation about it. The disrespect would be my response to it. I tell Jay, okay, I respect your wishes. And then I turn around and say, you're being ridiculous. Like I'm disregarding the feeling. Again, you're not in a relationship with anybody else but the partner you're with. You don't owe anything to anybody.
I want to give you a damn round of applause. I really want to give you a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? I do. I know, no, I really do. Because you said some common sense that's not so fucking common. You know what I mean?
Watch the language. We're recording for YouTube.
I'm sorry. Please, my bad.
But I
know,
understand what
20
you're saying. But I want to say this: if you're, if a woman has a man that has a female friend, and he has to tell her what the boundary is, that he's in a relationship now and he can't talk to her the same way, that's not his friend.
Oh no, that's why he's cut it out.
Yeah.
Right, but the initial question is, can it happen? Yes, I was open to it because I have male friends that aren't out here. They're aware of my relationship and they're not out here wilding out and being like, hey, do you know what I'm saying? And even if he was, and him and I, more importantly, have had that conversation. If you ever feel uncomfortable, tell me, let's us have a conversation. Because I'm not in a relationship with everyone else. I'm in a relationship with you. Right. So let's talk about why you would have that feeling, right? Because he can't sit there and tell me like, oh, well, I'm not going to be friends with her, but let me be immature and tell you can't be friends with all these other men. I'm not out here entertaining that. I'm not even approaching it that way. I'm not laying that out there. And I gave him the same courtesy, and so I think it's realistic that you could be friends with somebody, but it goes hand in hand with like how are we all behaving.
Who's
I think the
Eric?
most.
Eric,
I
this
think.
is
I
a
think the
serious.
most.
This is a great debate, Eric. If you're not here for the debate, we're going to have to remove you because we are recording to YouTube. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, what I think is the most important thing, and this goes on both sides, is called a betrayal of trust. You know what I'm saying? And many people could get hurt in many ways. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about cheating. It's called a betrayal of trust. He said men could get fucked up just off that shit alone. You know what I'm saying? It ain't because you just cheated on him. It's because you cheated on his ass intellectually and his ass got fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, watch the language.
Language.
We're recording
Oh, I'm
to
sorry. I
YouTube.
apologize about that. But I'm gonna keep my
My
language to
dude,
myself.
my dude is on HBO Max right
Yeah.
now.
No, I'm gonna keep because this is motherfucker. This is Uma's stream, and you know what? Uma is to be respected. She already knows my whole life story. You know what I'm saying? But she's to be respected. I will always keep it that way. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, everybody, you go through a betrayal of trust. That'll mess you up. You know what I'm saying? It'll mess you up, especially
But
when
that
you're
goes
talking.
hand in
And it's
hand, having those conversations. I can testify that I've had those things, but I tell him about it, right? And so the reason why we're in a relationship right now that's solid is because he acknowledges that and he approaches every situation that we have, including like this, his friend, crossing a boundary and him being like, you know what, like we're not doing that because you're like, you've done disrespected our friendship, you've done disrespected my person. And like he even says it goes without saying, and so again, it goes back to how you have that foundation with your relationship. What does that look like in general? Like you just said, like it's about a trust. It has nothing to do with like if like even cheating is involved. It's really the consideration for how one's feeling. And we all have trials, trauma. We all have relationship trauma, just in general. And how is somebody comforting that? How is someone taking care of that part of your heart, so to speak, as cheesy as that sounds.
exactly. And we all, as people, especially as people who have relationship and whatever, we need to respect that. You know what I'm saying? We have to respect that as people. We have to respect the relationship. We can't you just respect our expectations. You know what I'm saying? Our expectations will lead you astray. You know what I mean? I only thought about one thing. It was commitment in my marriage. That's all I thought about. You know what I'm saying? But hey, commitment goes both ways. You know what I'm saying?
That's very true. Kane, what's your thoughts?
See, for me, I do have a girlfriend. I do have other friends that are good friends. One's like a really good friend of mine, like a best friend. She's married. I talk to her more than I talk to her husband, and he respects that. I respect them because they know what I've gone through. But I talk to her more than I do with him.
Right.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And I
Rob?
love that. Like I talked to Rob and I was just on a call with Rob the other day and I'm like, I have to go. I'm on the phone with Rob. So again, it's the foundation that you have.
Rob, what is your thoughts about this?
My thoughts are know thyself. So therefore, I have plenty of female friends just as much as I have male friends. So therefore, like if I'm a person that can get along with the opposite sex without there being any complications, I think my significant other could do the same. Like she would be the person to stand in that same corner. Well, before we even get involved into anything too deep, she would know where I stand and I would know where she stands. So therefore, I I think this question is just really in regards to people who aren't really secure within themselves and their relationships, whether it's romantic or not.
You
Absolutely.
see, that's my point. It's a betrayal of trust. Just a betrayal of trust. He could do it. It may not be for the next man. But hey, mhm.
Boogie said he's too old and lazy to cheat.
My body makes noises when I sneak around is crazy.
Good. That was a good topic. You guys covered that really well.
I'm gonna
All right,
wait,
I'm gonna give it
Timbo. Be
over.
quiet.
I'm gonna give it over to Rob for his next question.
Oh, all right. I'm glad that we touched on that question because my next question is Can you be friends with two people who despise one another?
Whoa,
Or
that's
do
a
you have to
Coming for me
choose
after my
one of
stream?
your two friends?
Let me find out you were in my taking
not
content for my
not split
stream.
personality, not having to fight with yourself. No, not
I mean,
that.
I'm friends with Kane and Timbo, and we get along just fine in here.
I'm friends with Rob, and we get along fine too.
Hey,
There you
hold
go.
on, y'all all love each other. What the fuck? Excuse my language, but y'all all love each other. You know what I mean?
No, but I
Oh
do,
yeah.
especially on streams, I get so many people that want to pull me into their internet drama. And I always say all the time, I come here for fun. I have a whole life outside of streams. So I don't care. If Mel Bell, respectfully, I'm not calling you out, but if Mel Bell is having an issue with Jay and they're both my friends, I tell people all the time, we're grown-ups, we're adults. We could really, like, I could be friends with Mel Bell and I could be friends with Jay, and it's gonna be okay. I don't like when people, especially women, I notice this, especially women, they'll try to like manipulate you. Like I had this one female friend on streams, and I'm just gonna say it's Mel Bell, and she let's say I wanted to bring Kane on a show, and Mel Bell was helping me with my shows, and I told her, I was like, oh hey, I need you to reach out to Kane and bring him on the show. And she's like, oh well, I just want to let you know that I actually don't talk to Kane. We actually had like a falling out. And I said, okay, cool, no worries. I will ask Rob to bring Kane on the show. And then now Mel Bell goes into, but I just want to let you know about Kane. And I want to tell you these things because I want to protect you. I really, if you want to get on my bad side, tell me if you want to protect me, because I'm a 47-year-old woman with a mortgage and 2 grown children in college. I don't need no protecting. All right, I'm fine. I've survived life. I will be okay. And I really hate when people do that because to me it's so manipulative.
Damn, Mel, what did I do to you?
No, that's a
Stop
a
it.
like
Rob, you're
you
just
try
being violent.
you
Rob
telling
just came for my stream and I got put in this situation.
like you
How dare
telling
you
somebody
How
Next
dare
time
you
I'm on
bring
the
that into
show, make sure
question?
Mel's not in here because I have issues with her now.
No, and I respectfully said, first of all, no one is besides not ignoring you for the drama. I'm about to be on a show that I've committed my time to. I'm like, but to answer your question, yes, I think I won't lie. I at one point in my life, I would allow it to emotionally get to me because I just wanted everyone to get along. This place is an outlet for me. And it takes more offense to me of like 90% of the time in my past, just my experience, everyone's fine at the end. And then I look like the asshole. I'm sorry, excuse my language. I'm the jerk who took a side. And when we're adults, like this is an adult platform. And so that being said, like now I've learned, and I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not gonna cap, like I get emotional about it, I get hurt. I was glad for the breaks out of the stream right even today. Because like I told my sister, I'm like, I want to, but like you, especially when little things like being manipulative like get thrown out, like, well, I'm gonna like exit out of this friendship. Well, you've already made the choice. So did you even value our connection, our friendship to begin with? There's nothing further to be discussed. That doesn't mean that I don't have a feeling about it. But I can at least sleep better at night because I'm not picking sides. There's a lot of people that me and Rob's whole friendship, like I didn't talk to a lot of people that he didn't talk to. I'm gonna tell Rob, like, don't call me till you cut them off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even when I share something with somebody to get it off my chest, I'm like, well, who was it? It doesn't matter. I'm telling you how I feel, not who it was. This is not about choosing a side. And we forget that, it's not about not even having conversations to be considerate of your friend's feelings. It's like the drama part comes in when you need to pick a side. And it's not about that. I'm venting to you how I feel, not who did it, because it doesn't pertain to you, and I'm very well aware. Like I pride myself in my stream, like a lot of them don't get along and they love each other up until tonight. People came in with violence. I don't like you, kick.
Well, we
I
all
didn't
go
stand
into
on that
Mel
today.
stream after this.
I think there is going to be
Hey,
violence
you
after
know
this show
what?
thanks to Mel Bell.
Yeah,
No, but,
that crazy
look,
stuff that
everybody who knows me, I'm an emotional ass person. I am very kumbaya. I am very like, I'm learning to bite back, not to be as mean, but to like lay my own emotional boundaries, because I realize ultimately a lot of those things are, respectfully your issue, not mine. Um, you know, um, I sat there crying. You didn't give a shit. You know, you got your point taken. And I sat there being disrespected. Nobody gave a fuck about Mel Bell. I wasn't sitting there being like, whoa, let me just go kick them. You know what I'm saying? So it goes down to like something that petty of being like, no, I didn't do that. And today, even today, something happened. I was like, I'm getting off. I don't have time for this. And I don't. And I came over here and it was like, I can't take accountability. I can, to answer your question, be friends with two people that don't get along. I can't speak for everyone else.
Wait, are you actually talking about a situation between you and Rob right now?
No. Rob was just in the room and he brought it as a question.
I was just present. I just be sitting in the background. Mind my own business.
I feel like we had this situation.
He's like, and question.
Yeah, like I think people take things too personally here on this app. Like me and Jay.
I 100% agree. I agree.
Me and Jay have had it out. Me and Kane have had it out. Me and Timbo have had it out. Like I've had it out with a lot of y'all up here in the comments. But I do hope you know that when I'm arguing my point, I really feel strongly about my point, and I'm going to argue it. But I don't take anything away from your character or who you are. At the end of the day, when I leave off of here, I go to bed and I sleep just fine. And I come back and I be like, hey, Kane, hey, Jay, what's up? You know, like I'm good with it. But I think on here, people are too, like they take things too personally, and they just, you got to let stuff go. Like, okay, you guys know Mr. 6'6", you know, he has a controversial stream, and I'm always fighting in there with all the women in there. We're always fighting.
Hold on. Who is 6'6" and why you arguing why? I'm really curious.
Yeah, because they, you know, I see things differently, you know, and Six knows that. She's gonna have a different opinion than
she vents her anger on there.
They want Uma to join. They want Uma to join.
They want Uma's opinion. You know what I'm saying? They want Uma's opinion.
No, they don't want Uma's opinion. They want their opinion coming through Uma's mouth.
That's gonna happen though. That ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
My opinion.
You can't tell Uma to say nothing.
So
you know
we
what I'm
get
saying?
into like fights all the time in there. And this one woman, this one older lady was in there, and she got into a fight too and stuff. And she took it personally that Six wouldn't defend her. So she was talking to me about it. And I said, now listen, I said, Six is my friend. We've hung out off streams. We talk off streams. He's my friend. He don't defend me when these things are happening. And I don't expect him to defend me because he's a streamer. He's doing this for content. That's what we as streamers do. Y'all know that, right? Like we do this for content. So if Rob and Mel Bell start to go at it, I'm staying out of it because that don't involve me. And we're doing this for content. Like that's the whole point, to entertain you guys. Right? So we got to stop taking things personally, because when I leave Six's stream and he don't defend me, or sometimes he even comes at me, I don't take it personally because that's my friend. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to stop.
You can't take nothing personally in this stream because it's just, you don't even, well.
I mean, you can, but you can't expect everyone else to carry it. And that's the difference. We're all entitled to a feeling.
You can. Everybody should have the right to their own opinion.
Everyone's entitled to a feeling and a reaction. No one is taking that. You can't hold others accountable to jump on your car and take the ride with you on something that isn't theirs. You wouldn't want it done to yours, like to you. It's that, like that saying goes around, but people get so offended to follow it. You know, switch the script around. You would be so quick to be like, how, you know, immature. Like, and that's the point. It's no one's invalidating feelings. I don't say that you can't be upset about it. Take a walk on the stream. Go to the next stream over. I don't know.
But Eddie's a, you know, he's a known personality on this app, and a lot of people don't like Eddie. But I'm like, you know, me and Eddie, we've gotten into it a lot of times. Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
This is Six. Speaking of.
Speaking of. He came here with violence.
Eddie for me lately.
Came in like a genie.
I was just talking about you, bro. I was just talking about that whole, like me and Six, we get into it too. I just went to his TikTok stream 2 mornings ago, and I got into it with a girl on there, and I got mad and I left. But I was like, I'm not mad at Six. I'm mad at like the situation with the girl, because she was talking a lot of nonsense, you know. And I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and listen to nonsense. So the thing is like we got to stop taking things personally. Is basically what I want to say about that.
which I'm trying to do. No, but for me on
Yeah.
the
What?
subject that we were talking about, the question is, for me, I had two friends. They were both married. They got divorced. One was trying to make me jump to his side, and the other one, his wife, was trying
That's
to make me
worse.
jump to her side. I told, and their daughter was my goddaughter / niece when she's grown up. I told them both, I was like, don't get me involved in your personal life because you guys are getting divorced. Your daughter is my goddaughter / basically niece for the last 18, 19 years now. I was like, I'm in the neutral zone. Just leave me in the neutral zone. You guys battle out between each other. As I love you both. Well, he stopped talking to me, period, now because of a girl issue. And his ex-wife, she's like a little sister to me. But we don't talk about him. We don't talk about their divorce, their marriage, or anything. We talk about what's going on in life. It's like me with my niece and everything else.
Okay, Afro.
And Timbo, I don't have your books. I donated them to the library.
Oh man, that's all right. I can't be your friend no more.
That's right. Rob's not my friend either. So
Nah,
Yeah.
just
If we weren't recording, I would show you how much of a friend I am to King.
I just had to say
All right.
that because that's how I am with a lot of people. I will favor certain people and I'll take their side or I'll take the other person's side, but sometimes I won't take either side. It's like they're just friends. I don't want to deal with your BS because I got my own BS going on in my own life.
Right.
That's a true
Right.
story. I don't like friends that like trauma dump on you or trauma bonding. I don't like that. I like friends that make me happy, make me smile. Like my friends and I, we all have problems going on, but when we get together, we literally, I have 3 best friends, Danae, Sarah, and Zaraima. I've talked about them on here all the time. And when we get together, we usually spend like 4 or 5 hours together, but the first 1 hour is what we dedicate to like trauma dumping. And then the rest of the time we're just laughing and having fun and because I just don't like to be around people who
Oh,
are
yeah.
always negative.
Because for me, I go to a substance abuse mental awareness group therapy session once a week, and I get out of there for an hour once a week. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Afro does that a lot. Like he'll defend me in public. Like we have a saying, when you wrong and strong, like he'll defend me in the public, and then behind closed doors, he'd be like, "Now you know you was wrong, Uma."
I so see it too. Like, let me tell you about yourself.
I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And we need more people like that. Like, that's your tribe. That's ultimately who's gonna. They don't even have to do it for the public to to get by. It's just like, hey, that wasn't cool.
Yeah, I do that with all my friends all the time because I don't feel I should set them up. Like I feel we should not give our enemies ammunition. And and that's how people try to create cracks. If they know like Rob and I are friends and then Rob's doing something wrong and I go off on him, now there's a crack. They're like, okay, we can see a crack to come in and break this up. So
Right.
I will not say anything. Like if he's really doing something bad, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to say anything. But behind closed doors, I'm going to talk to him about it.
See,
Oh yeah, for sure. We've had that before.
Actually had good friends of mine go off on me quite a bit, and yeah, I deserved it because the way I act sometimes. But then it wakes me up to say, "Hey, oh wow, it's like that day that I was talking to that person, and I deserve to be yelled at and them going off on me." So I respect them for doing that.
I feel like once I call you a friend, like I know all of, unless I meet you in person, I don't consider you guys friends until I meet you in person, right? So you're like my internet friends, my stream friends.
Yeah.
But if I call you like even that, if I call you a stream friend, I give you allowances. Like even Kane the other day when you got mad at me because I said, get out of my life. I was making a joke. I was like, Kane, get out of my life. And he's like, okay, Uma, bye. And he left my stream, right?
I did. I actually
People got
did.
like really upset. They were like, "Oh my God, is he mad?" I said, "He's probably mad." I said, "But he's gonna calm down. He's gonna think about it. He's gonna
Because
know
I
I'm
actually,
joking."
in my comment, I typed, I said, I'm like, okay, I said, you want me out of your stream? I said, peace out, later.
Yeah, and he did. He left for like 2 weeks, And then I was like,
I did.
he's gonna be fine. He'll come back. And people were like, "Where's Kane? Where's Kane? We miss Kane." I was like, "He'll come back. He's gonna calm down." Because like with my friends, like the thing is I'm an adult, and I know we're all adults, and we're all going through personal stuff. So I'm okay with my friends lashing out at me or saying whatever they say because I know like we're all going through stuff. They're gonna know I'm a good friend. They'll find their way back to me, and we're gonna talk about it. You
Because
know?
I think that week I was going through some depression because of my
Yeah.
knee issues.
I remember.
So it was
Yeah.
kind of taking me out. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I was like, I'm getting out of everybody's live stream. I'm gonna take a break and worry about myself instead of everybody else.
And I respect that because the one thing I respect with my friends is their mental health. So if anybody ever tells me, Uma, I can't come to your stream for a while, you know, I need to take a break. I'm like, that's fine. You know where to find me.
And then of course the night with the PDA, I even sent Uma a message through IG later that night. It's like, or that day, it's like, hey, I'm taking a break from everything for a while.
It was
That's actually-
triggering for him, and I respected that,
Yeah.
because not a lot of people like, can honor their boundaries. And that's something we need to, like, what we need to do? We need to stop being offended when people honor their boundaries. Because I put up my boundaries a hell of a lot. If I don't like you, I'm gonna tell you I don't like you. I don't rock with you. Like Jay came in here earlier. I didn't talk to Jay for like, what's it, like a year now, because he did something I found very offensive. Not to me. He just did something that I found very offensive. And I was like, you know what? You gotta go. I don't want you in my life. And he's been coming back in here for a year trying to get on my good side. Finally tonight's the first night I finally said, like, okay, you know what? I'll let you rock out for a little bit. But you pissed me off. You're getting kicked out of my stream again.
I think I even apologized to Uma.
It's like, who's this Jay guy? Oh, Jay.
Yeah, Timbo. See? Yeah.
Timbo, if you want
No,
back,
you see, my problem is my mouth lacks filter when I get agitated.
That's a good
And when
attitude.
people start to know I'm getting agitated, I call my friends when they hear, because they know that's reaching that boundary line and they pull away. And I will say it like it is. And I used to get in trouble, actually. Like, I still get in trouble for saying things and putting people in their place very quickly when they push that boundary. It must be a Guyanese thing or the fact
It
that,
is, because I got a
God,
terrible
yeah.
mouth.
Because my
no, you're good,
mom,
Timbo. If you
she's
want to
the
come
other
back
thing
in,
too.
I go.
When I see that look on her eyes, you know you're in deep trouble. You better run. And if you run, you're in more trouble. So you better stay there and cop it. So damned if you do and damned if you don't.
It's so funny. I was doing a versus against Rose, and Role Model was in the comments. Role Model Fresh is one of the top streamers. She was the #1 streamer on the POF app, and she's one of the top streamers here on meetme. And she was in the comments, and this guy came in, but he had like a fake account, and I didn't know who it was, but he was dropping like heavily on me. I think he sent me like 20,000 diamonds and gifts, and I'm like, who are you? I'm like, something about your energy, it feels familiar. I'm like, who are you? He's like, oh, you know me. In fact, you've had me blocked from your account for like over a year now. So Role Model was like losing her mind in the comments. She's like, dang, you block people and they come back gifting you. And I was like, I have very strong boundaries. Like, if you cross my boundaries, you are literally dead to me. Like, I don't know who you are anymore. You cease to exist. But what I love about that is that people really show me that they appreciate my friendship. Because I can't tell you how many people have come back in my lifetime to apologize to me, to ask for my forgiveness, to ask to be friends with me again, because that tells me like, Uma, you're a good friend, because people don't do that if you're like a crappy friend. You know what I'm saying? They do that when they know your worth and they know like, okay, I messed up. I'm going to go apologize to her. And it takes a lot of strength to apologize to somebody. And that's why I don't drag it. If you come with a good heart and you say an apology to me, and I'm quick to forgive it, because I like being around people, and I like
people
having
grow.
peace in my life. And people grow, exactly. So, but you have to have strong boundaries, because if you don't have strong boundaries, we have a saying in Guyana: if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, right? And I don't like people wasting my time. I don't like people wasting my energy. I have a lot to offer this world. I have a mission that I'm on, And if you're in my life, you need to be on the same schedule. If you're not, then you got to go. And no hard feelings. Just you got to go. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Jen.
for
we
sure.
definitely have to.
The
Yeah.
people that be hitting me up, I'm like, look, I don't have 4 hours to talk to you. Like, wrap this up in 4 minutes.
All
I
right,
got
next
time.
question. Let's go, Uma.
Yeah. The last question
Oh
of the
wow, we
night.
made it to the last question. Oh
We
man.
made it to the last question. It's a
Unreal.
doozy.
For once. No.
So I'm going to say the question first, and then I'm going to give my speech. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Has Kanye gone too far, or is it freedom of speech? So let me sum this up. Kanye has been on a rampage this week. Basically, it started, from what I can gather, it started at the Grammys when he was not invited to the Grammys, and him and his wife, Bianca Censori, showed up. She was wearing a coat. She took the coat off and she was completely naked under the coat. So then she put the coat back on and they left. Come to find out, she was wearing a newest design from Kanye's clothing line called the Invisible Dress. So that happened. A lot of people found it in poor taste and they wanted him to be like banned from the Grammys or, locked up for indecent exposure and all this other stuff. So Kanye took to X, formerly known as Twitter, and laid out a series of like 11 or 12 texts where he was going on a rampage saying that, he hates Jewish people, he's a Nazi, he said it, Heil Hitler, all this really derogatory speech. And then for the Super Bowl, he booked 2 commercials, paying over $7 million for these commercials. And then when a commercial came out, it didn't show in every city. It only showed in some cities. And one of the commercials I saw was him sitting at a dentist's office in a dentist chair, using his iPhone to film the commercial. And basically he said, I'm sorry, guys. I spent all the money for the commercial on me getting some brand new teeth. Shopyeezy.com. So then he directed people to his website. And when he went there, all he had was one item selling. It was a white t-shirt with a black swastika symbol on it. To which Shopify, which was hosting his website, did not know until people started complaining about it and they closed down his site. So I've always been a fan of Kanye, but
He's
I
even
think
banned from
he has
X now
gone
too.
too far. And I feel at this point he should be locked up. What do you guys think?
Look, he's
I
medically
I think
diagnosed with
I need to watch more Grammys.
Bipolar.
I haven't watched the Grammys in a while.
I think it's
don't
all
watch
in
the
the country
Grammys.
mental health, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't condone his behavior. I think for sure it's extreme. Locked up, not in prison, maybe in a mental facility. I
Psych
really
ward.
think he's really screaming for some kind of mental health attention. Maybe it's pointing a finger, making it excusable, but I strongly believe that. Just looking back, like where he was at, there's clearly something there that someone's missing that he doesn't want to talk about, and it's like the most outrageous forms of of attention seeking.
Hmm.
And it doesn't make sense. Ultimately, it doesn't make sense. It's very, I wouldn't even be shocked if he had something that literally there is illnesses, there's brain tumors out there that
There
will
is.
make you act completely like this, outrageously out of character. And I would bet money on that if somebody locked him up in a medical facility to make sure, because I don't know. I do think
Like,
it's
listen,
outrageous.
I give him a lot of allowances. When he did the stunt with Bianca, right? He said that he loves his wife. People want to say that he's forcing her to do these things. But if you actually look up Bianca, she's been doing naked stuff for a while. Like, that's her thing. I don't know. She likes to wear lingerie in public and be naked or whatever. That's her thing. So he said that his whole goal that came out after that was to break the internet. And he did it. Because after they did what they did, they actually trended higher on the internet for more searches than the actual Grammys. So he was doing it as a publicity stunt to show people this is all you can manipulate this stuff. This is nothing to it. It's just all based off of numbers and ideas and whatever else, which is why I love Kanye, because I feel he's a genius like that. But the reason, Timbo, why I say he should be locked up, because fair is fair, and that is hate speech. A swastika is a symbol of hate. Him saying I love Nazis, I love Hitler, and F the Jews and all of that, that's hate speech and against a particular group of people. That is wrong. If we're gonna lock up the KKK, then we need to lock up Kanye for that. That's all I'm saying about that.
Like, okay, I understand completely where you're coming from. It is 1,100,000,000% wrong. Like, nobody should do that. But at the same time, you can't lock somebody up for yes, what he said is completely wrong, but he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't do no physical harm, but it's not really that's not really something he could be locked up for. He can lose people, he can lose money, he can lose publicity. People hate him, but to get a criminal charge and go to jail and things like that, no, he could go to like a mental hospital, like everybody else was saying. But as far as getting like criminal
They've done
charges,
that. He's diagnosed bipolar. They've done that. He takes himself off his meds.
he does.
So
like
to
most
me,
people that have that, yeah.
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 So to me, I feel like at this point, like, because I love him, I do love Kanye as an artist. I think he's an incredibly creative mind. I do agree with Mr. P that he's seen things and he knows things that has completely discombobulated him. But I also feel that him being at billionaire status, this is why I say you don't need as much money as you think you need. I think money really is the root of all evil. And I think that the more money you get, the more craziness you're involved in, because it's like, this is waste. If I was at Kanye's level, if I was a billionaire at Kanye's level, I would be creating community homes. I'd be creating community land where people can live off the land and teaching, kids how to grow food and how to sew and basic survival skills. I would be doing so much with that money instead of spending it on a Super Bowl at $7 million to film an ad from your phone showing your teeth in a dentist chair saying, oh, I spent all the money on hair. Like, this is crazy. And yes, the swastika did originate from Sanskrit, but the way he's using it is not what he's using it for, what it's intended for. Now, unless he comes out and says, this is not the swastika, this is the Indian, because the actual symbol is Antakarana from the Indian, the Vedic sciences, and we use it in Reiki, we use Antakarana, right? It's a very sacred symbol. However, he's not saying this is Antakarana, he's saying this is the swastika. So,
and he used deliberate racial slurs to go along with it. So
correct.
Now, I know that we're tapped out at 6 questions, but honestly, I was gonna reach out to you this week because you brought up the whole Kanye thing, and like, I feel like nobody wants to discuss how anybody felt about Jay-Z and Beyonce being there. They've been in such connection with so many things. If people not saying anything out of fear, could all these other attention-seeking things be a part of the propaganda of taking, the limelight, taking them out of the limelight? Like, no, I don't know. Like, I'm honestly just.
I talked about it in an earlier stream because Elon Musk, of all people, this little I don't know, busy bee over here, he apparently uncovered that Jay-Z paid millions of dollars to country shows, radio stations, podcasts, whatever, to pretty much guarantee Beyonce winning country album of the year.
Oh no, we've established that, Mr. P, that he does work for them, but I just feel like nobody wants to talk about that. I could be wrong, maybe I'm reaching, but I think the whole thing with like, I think a combination of what Mr. P was saying, that Kanye has seen some things, he's been exposed to some things. I don't think he's in his right state of mind, and I feel like all of that is somewhere in connection of like, let's take the eyesight of them being here, this whole thing going on. Let's bring another shenanigan. Here comes Kanye and his wife with the invisible dress. I don't feel like that was on accident. I'm sorry.
I didn't watch the
That's
Grammys.
the reason why I'm connecting it. I don't feel like it was on accident.
That's a different take, yeah. Anyone else? Rob?
Wake up,
Okay.
Rob.
Oh no, I'm just watching
I just saw
Kanye lose his mind on the internet.
I don't know about Kanye West. As like I know he's good he's a good musician, but with all this stuff going on, I don't know.
He
I
was
know-
Twister Days in Chicago, yes, but
I know there's
Yeah, change the
I know
wording.
I know they said he probably can't do anything because he still has his First Amendment rights, so he can say whatever he wants to say. But I know he physically didn't hurt anybody. But then we're in America. It's like we basically get away with anything that we want to say or wear until
I'll
we get
tell
in
you,
trouble.
Mr. P, you want to know the reasoning behind his t-shirt? He has been waging war on the Jewish community for a while now because he apparently said he's worked with a lot of Jewish people and he feels that Jewish people run Hollywood. So he's waging war on them. And that's why he's doing all of this. So it's gotten so bad that recently they released a new video with a lot of Jewish stars. I'm talking Adam Sandler, Jerry Seinfeld, Adam Levine, a whole but and they all wearing a white t-shirt with a black was it a black finger, a middle finger up, and it said F Kanye. There's a video out about that. Haven't you guys seen the video?
No.
I have not,
Yeah,
but I
and
don't
then
really pay a lot of attention to this
like I'm
celebrity
talking,
war.
there's like 20 stars in there. Simon and Garfunkel. There's like 20 stars in there, and they all are just putting up their middle finger as an FU to Kanye, and at the end it says enough is enough. Fight back against anti-Semitism.
Yeah, so
That was
basically
an AI
everybody's doing
video.
yeah, I heard about that
It's,
too, Boogie, that it was proven to be an AI video.
Oh, so it's not real.
No.
Oh, well then I recant that. Because I was wondering, I was like, they all got together for this t-shirt thing. Dang.
I'll be back. I'm gonna get out. I gotta plug my phone. Battery's going dead.
Okay. But then also too, how could they make an AI video without the approval from the people's likeness that they were using?
I mean, I think that's why it got cut
But
off. Like
they do that all the time.
Right.
They do that all the time.
Yeah.
You just gotta be the person willing to be like, oh, you took my likeness without my permission. Let me go ahead and drop a lawsuit. A lawsuit. All right, so Kanye West, y'all, you can either agree or disagree with this statement, but my dude has not been Kanye West since the passing of his mother.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's been a continuous downfall, a continuous spiral.
right.
Yep. Kim messed him up.
Well, the Kardashian clan didn't help at all.
But everyone
whole-
she's
the
been with, she
whole
messed up their life.
cheerleading squad over there.
I know, right? Every man that's been with a Kardashian, their life got changed.
So fascinating. But as
Lamar
far as
Odom,
Kanye West today, though,
yeah.
like no matter what he may or may not have seen behind the scenes, doesn't really excuse like the actions of where he stands right now. Like you may have seen, like I think we all may have seen something that that
Moved
is
us.
falls under the trauma category, but no, I imagine none of us have gone to these great lengths to get attention because of that.
But we also, I mean, Okay, like I agree with you, but everyone's also not Kanye. They didn't have the platform to go to the Grammys and made such a speculation. I'm sure there's been lots of people that have put up such a tantrum. Nobody talks about it because who are they? You know what I'm saying?
You can also put Will Smith in that category. Like we wouldn't expect him to go up and slap the heck out of somebody, but that happened.
Exactly. Would he
You
have been
wouldn't
so
expect someone
random
to
if a
jump up
random
on
person?
stage and at a Dave Chappelle concert, and then next thing you know, he gets jumped by, behind the curtains and whatnot. Like people just do things um eccentric wise, but it doesn't excuse the behavior.